Welcome, and this is this week's edition of the Digital Express for the Starkville Daily News. I'm sports editor Danny Smith, and Joel Coleman is our Mississippi State beat writer, who also covers high school football for us. And Joel, I don't know if some teams start the playoffs this week and some finish up the regular season, but I don't know if Starkville and Starkville Academy can top or get anywhere close than what they did last week. Both of them were down at halftime, and by some miracle, Starkville Academy scored 28 points in I think less than about 8 minutes and pulled out their game after being down 30-7 in the fourth quarter, and Starkville High came from behind to win their district. So it was quite a feat for those two in-town city teams.
Yeah, you kind of catch a glimpse last week of the character of not only those two teams, but the two coaches that run those two programs. And neither one are very much on the, let one bad thing happen and then that's the end. But both of those coaches, Chris Jones and Chase Nicholson, for as long as I've kind of watched them and covered them, they come back strong, whether it's after a loss or whether it's at halftime and they're down, or they just don't quit fighting. I mean, you saw with Starkville, they started the year 1-2, and they roared back, hadn't lost since, won the division, and you saw it in the midst of that game on Friday night. And Starkville Academy, of course, lost their opener this season too, and bounced back, and of course they kind of ran into some hard times before last week, and even after losing 3 or 4 down at halftime, down in the fourth quarter, no quitting the Vols either. And that's a credit to all those kids for one, but it's a credit too to those coaches for instilling in those kids that just play 4 quarters, see what happens, and lo and behold, both Starkville teams still playing football this week.
Yeah, and Starkville, they were coming back against Brandon, they were coming back against West Point. Win those 2 games, you're undefeated right now. But they played the final regular season game at home against Clinton. It'll be senior night for them. Starkville Academy has earned another road trip in the playoffs. They'll go down to Meridian Friday night to play Lamar School, a team that they lost to in the season opener. But we've got East Webster. They're playing in the playoffs in the first round of their Class 1A, and Eupora is going on the road.
2A.
2A, that's right. Yeah. 2A, Eupora is going up to Walnut, all the way up to the Tennessee line, just about it, for their first opportunity in the playoffs. And Choctaw County, they're hosting Louisville Central, and it'll be interesting to see if they can continue the momentum that they built and going into the playoffs.
Yeah, they ton of momentum, and on top of the momentum they've got coming in this year, there's a little bit of sour taste in their mouth too, because last year, if you'll recall, first round of the playoffs they hosted, and didn't turn out so well for them. That was where it all ended. Yeah. This season, you kind of like Choctaw County's chances, but I got a feeling after what happened a season ago, they're not taking anything for granted in Ackerman on Friday night. So good chance for the division champs to come out and make a statement and keep that season rolling, keep that momentum rolling. And man, I'll tell you, every time I've seen them, they have just impressed me how they bounced back from that 1-3 start. Because I would have never thought that they would have bounced back as strong. If you'd have told me they'd sneak into the playoffs, I'd probably say, well, I could see that. But to come back and not lose again after that 1-3 start, to win the division, just an impressive bunch. So interested to see how far they can keep climbing.
Yeah. Choctaw County is a 3A school, and Eupora and East Webster are 2A schools. Like I misspoke a while ago and called East Webster 1A. Of course, I'm thinking back in the old days, I guess, because they used to be a Class A school.
With East Webster, we don't have the bracket in front of us, but they're got to be itching for a chance to keep winning and run into Calhoun City again, right? Yeah. And kind of put a end to some of that recent history that Calhoun City's kind of had East Webster's number a little bit. I'm sure they'd love a crack to put an end to that, and what a story that'd be.
Yeah. I think that would be for a North Half situation. Yeah, that would be my guess.
They can't really think about that just yet.
No, it's still some business to take care of. The West Point train is still rolling. They go into their final regular season game with Center Hill on the road, so they've got to make a little road trip to finish out. They've already clinched their division, so they're trying to finish out the season strong with the win and then look ahead to the playoffs next week. But we'll go ahead and shift our focus to the Mississippi State. I know they've got an open date coming off a really good win over Arkansas. It's a win that they needed. You know, they could have gone over there and said, what's the use, and just played out the string and lost that ball game.
Yep.
But they came out early and scored and took it to Arkansas the way that a lot of people felt like they could do.
They did, and you know, now you kind of have another, I don't want to say controversy, because I don't think it's controversy at all, really, because, I mean, Tommy Stevens, Garrett Schrader, two guys that seem to get along really well, and two guys that Moorhead likes, Coach Joe Moorhead likes a lot, and we've heard Garrett say earlier this year even, you know, well, when Tommy gets healthy, he's going to be the guy. Garrett doesn't mind kind of sitting in the background here. Not that he doesn't want to play, you know. So controversy, I feel like is the wrong word, but you have another quarterback situation here now, because you had Tommy step in for Garrett, who was, we still really don't know what the problem was. It was just kind of general health issues, was how Coach Moorhead described it at Arkansas. But Garrett didn't play last week, and Tommy steps in after not playing for a little while. He's finally healthy again, looked really good, ran the football for 70-plus yards and passed for nearly 200 yards. Looked great. And I'm interested to see here when State plays Alabama here at Davis Wade Stadium here in, I guess, about 9 days now, 9 or 10 days. Is Tommy Stevens your starting quarterback again? My guess, and it's strictly a guess, is that after how well he looked and if he's healthy again, he kind of gives you that passing dimension that Garrett kind of still hadn't perfected yet as a true freshman. Right. And Garrett's probably a little better runner, but Tommy can run the ball too when he's healthy, as you saw at Arkansas. So I feel like a fully healthy Tommy Stevens gives you a more complete package to work with. So if I had to guess, I would say it'd be Tommy, but that's still 9-10 days away. And yeah, you know, for all the heat too on Joe Moorhead, this bye week and the upcoming schedule kind of allows things to settle for a few weeks for State too, because quite frankly, you kind of feel like you know what's going to happen the next 3 weeks. You're going to take a breather this week. Most likely things won't go in a victorious direction against Alabama, and that's, you know, almost to be expected. Yeah. Most likely the next week against Abilene Christian, that will go your way. And so you kind of have a settled 3 weeks, so to speak, to just kind of take a breath and things before that Egg Bowl on Thanksgiving night. And then the heat gets turned back up a little bit. Yeah,
with the Egg Bowl having maybe that 6th win riding on it, that could be quite a week for, and it's not very long in between Abilene Christian and Ole Miss being the Thanksgiving night game, so you don't have a whole lot of time to get ready for that.
That's right. And two, I know with Ole Miss's schedule now, barring some kind of major upset somewhere along the way, I don't think it's possible for them to get to 6 wins. But you can look at that APR situation that State benefited from. Yeah. Before you could get an Ole Miss team that could come in here maybe and get a 5th win and then be in play for some of that APR stuff if somebody needed to fill a bowl. I mean, so you may still have a couple of teams, you know, playing for bowl possibilities and stuff. Not to mention you'll have 2 coaches that, in Matt Luke and Joe Moorhead, that, you know, we think Joe Moorhead will be back next year. If you made me guess again, here I am guessing again. I think he'll be back next year. Matt Luke, he's kind of on an iffy seat too. I don't know if it's a hot seat, an iffy seat. There's some uncertainty, you know, at Ole Miss. Who knows what might happen there? But I don't know. A lot of storylines will play into that Egg Bowl. But that's down the line, and I think State will gladly take a week off and a breather and try and figure things out. Reconvene next week. See who the quarterback is. That's the first question, I guess, heading into Alabama next week.
That's a fun time of year to be talking about postseason and bowl projections and all of that. So this week's games will have a lot to do with that, but. We'll see how all that goes, and we'll be watching it like all of you will. But again, I'm Danny Smith and Joel Coleman for the Digital Express. We'll see y'all next week.